Hey everyone. So this is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer. And so one of the goals of our company is to teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time. And so I wanted to talk to you today about what you're feeding your mind. So it's interesting to me that some people have this thing whenever you go to be an entrepreneur that it's super easy. But the reality is that when you are an entrepreneur, and I'm going live on Facebook as well as on Instagram, whenever you are in the arena of business building, it can be difficult to do some of the things that you have to do. So your mind creates things like, there was someone's mind that created a chair, right? And so you have to be very intentional about what you're putting in your mind, because what happens is if you think small, then small things happen, right? So I'll just give you an example. So whenever I first started into the journey of entrepreneurship, or actually I didn't even know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. The deal was that I knew that I wanted to be a better leader. And so I went out and I started reading, because I used to read fiction all the time. I used to read all these novels, these mystery novels, right? And so it wasn't until, hey Sequisa, it wasn't until I started to read these the nonfiction books. Like I started reading John Maxwell's The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, and one of the things that he talks about in that second law is the law of the lid. And so the law of the lid says that if you are a five, then you can only go to your leadership team can only go to a four. If you're a six, your leadership team can only go to a five. And so I had to learn that. I had to learn that in order for my team to be better, I have to be a better leader. I have to understand how to do that. And so we, advanced until I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, and Robert Kiyosaki's book was about, having rich dad, poor dad, right? And understanding that just because you got a bunch of degrees doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. It doesn't mean that you're going to be richer. It doesn't mean that you're going to be an entrepreneur. It doesn't mean anything at all. And so the reality is that in order to make it, in this capitalistic society, most of the time you have to be you have to be an entrepreneur. And so that really, really changed my heart and soul when it came to that, and understanding that there is purpose behind anything that you do. And then I started reading, started studying Oprah, started studying a lot of things that she did, and understanding that she didn't come from a rich family. I mean, she came from a family of, a man and a woman who, wasn't even together. And understanding that if she could do it, representation is everything. And those are the things that I started feeding my mind. I started feeding my mind things. And so I want you to drop in the chat if there's something that you have read, like drop in the chat a book that you have read that it just really, really changed your perspective on certain things. I mean, even when I'm listening to podcasts all the time, I mean, I'm listening and I'm like, oh, I didn't get that. I didn't even understand that. And we are always, like my husband and I, we are always reading books. Like one of the books that really, really helped, that actually was a phenomenal book, was the book by, it was Taraji's book, Taraji Henson's book. I really, really liked that book. It was a great book. But there's so many books that really just kind of changed the trajectory of my life, made me a better person. And I continually read, because the reality is that I will never ever know everything. And I want to make sure that I'm always feeding my mind with things that are good. And so we can look at things in a bad way, or we can look at things in a good way. And the reality is that however you look at it, you're right. However you want, if you think that you can, you will. If you think that you won't, you won't. Period. And so you have to be very intentional. You have to be very intentional about what you put in your mind. I mean, like literally every single solitary day. I'm very intentional. Very intentional about what I put in my mind. Like I don't really watch TV a whole lot. I mean, every now and then I'll watch it if I have a down day, but I very rarely have a down day. Yeah, like I'm always doing something because I like what I do. And so I encourage you to really be intentional about what you put in here. Be very intentional. I mean, if you always watching murder shows, like, you think that the world is bad. You think that the world is that way. But if you don't, you have to train your mind. It is the biggest muscle and the best muscle that you have. And so I'm very intentional about every single solitary day, being very intentional about what I do, about who I hang around with. About the, I say all the time that you're the sum total of the five people that you hang around with. And if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Sequisa says your mind is your most powerful weapon, and it is. It's the most powerful weapon. She's saying that on Instagram, Facebook. So the reality is that we want to be very clear. We want to be very clear about what we are putting up here, what we're doing. So again, just if you're watching this after the live, just go ahead and drop in the chat what books you're reading. Because if you're not reading books, and you have to understand how to read books a lot faster too, and how to watch podcasts a lot faster, because your time is valuable. Your time is the thing that doesn't change. And I used to tell my son this all the time. I said, let me tell you something. The person in Jailhouse and Oprah Winfrey had the same amount of time every day. It is all in what they did with their time. And so you want to be very clear about your time. You want to be very clear that you are utilizing your time so that it is helping you and not hurting you. And so if you're sitting around and chilling and not doing anything, playing games all day or doing whatever, you're wasting time. Success loves speed. Tasha McCray says that all the time. Success loves speed. And so in order for you to get to those goals, in order for you to be where you need to be, you have to always be, in that space of learning and growing and being a better you than you were yesterday. And please, please, please don't compare yourself to everyone else. Please be very clear about that. Comparison is a thief of all joy. And I try my best not to compare myself to, because my year one is not going to be your year. You can't compare my year 5 to your year one. You just can't compare that. And so you want to make sure that you are not comparing yourself to everyone else. I remember when we struggled. We were struggling with our finances, and people were comparing themselves to us. And I was like, don't compare yourself to me, because I can promise you that comparison will steal your joy. It will steal your joy. And Sequisa, I'm so super glad that you needed this today. I love you. And the reality is that you want to be very clear about understanding your lane, walking in your purpose. When I started coaching, I started walking in my purpose, and it was a game changer. It was a game changer, and I love it. Like I would do it if no one paid me. Now, do I get my coins? Yeah. But at the same time, I would do it if no one paid me. So just be very clear about what your purpose is. Be very clear about walking in that purpose. Be very clear not to compare yourself to anybody else. Be very clear that one foot in front of the other, day after day after day after day, will get you to your goals. Now, if you want to stay connected, if you want to receive I've got a free gift, just click the link and you can get the gift. If you're on Instagram, I don't think I have a link there, but what you can do is you can take the link. I've got some more posts with the link on it as well. It's a free gift. It's info.freegift. You can go to my beacons on Instagram and get the free gift. If you're on Facebook, you can get the free gift up in the copy. However it is, you just want to make sure that you are moving every single day. Get up, move, get clarity on who you are, and be the best you are. This is Dr. Viola Pierce. I am the owner and CEO of VP Nursing and the Nurse Nurturer, where our goal is to teach nurses how to work from their computers anywhere around the world, making money and owning their own time. If you want to stay connected, go ahead and click the link. You guys have a phenomenal rest of your day. Bye.